Hello, Facebook and YouTube friends. Thanks for joining us this evening. I am running solo this evening, so won't be able to monitor the Facebook and YouTube chats as well as I would typically hope for. But please type your questions in there. I will circle back as often as I possibly can. So I appreciate your patience on that. And why I'm waiting here, if anyone has any addresses that are top of mind, any properties that they would like me to do some research on, I'm going to be introducing an application that we've actually already launched it on the Google Play Store. We're waiting for the Apple Store to approve us. And that application's actually going to allow you to put in a property address, and it's going to tell you all the programs that are available out there, down payment assistance, grants, things like that. So right now, for example, I think there's 23 programs available in Detroit. I do a lot of work in the city, so a lot of different down payment assistance programs and grants that are out there. So if anybody has a property address that they want me to run a scenario live on, I'd be happy to do it. Just put it right in the chat box. Great attendance tonight. Thank you all very much for carving time out of your schedule to make it. I certainly appreciate it. Doris, Felicia, Mark Lewis. All right. Thank you so much. Give me just 1 minute here and we will kick things off. All right. Okay. Hey, thank you all very much for carving time out of your busy schedule. It's always special that people can actually find time in their busy day to show up. I promise you, I'm going to give you as much educational content as I possibly can cram into 1 hour. And I am going to give you my contact information repeatedly. I'm going to kick that out there right now. Here is actually a link to my calendar. And I always encourage people to please book a call with me as soon as possible. After these webinars, my calendar books up pretty solidly for the next week, and I enjoy and appreciate every conversation I have with everyone. It's always nice to get to know so many people on so many different levels, and regardless of whether you're looking to move in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your situation is, for that matter, whether there's some challenges on the financial side or asset side with regards to money or credit, you name it. I've been around long enough where there's very few situations that I haven't encountered and have solutions for it. And we're going to cover quite a few of those this evening. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right in here because I've got a lot more to pack in than usual. So for my promises for this evening, there is no sales pitch here. I'm here to give you as much educational content as I can possibly fit inside basically 45 minutes. So I tend to run a little bit over, but for the most part, we're going to cover 5 major things this evening. One, we're going to teach you how to access. It's actually not 2,300. I'm going to give you a link to my new app that's got 2,500 programs across the country. So if you have any friends or family members across the country, this app works everywhere. So I was running scenarios for someone actually in Florida, down the Miami area. $200,000 is available for people to purchase in Miami right now. Crazy amounts of money. For whatever reason, Michigan, we're a little bit we're always a lot less for whatever reason. That's just the way it works out. The second thing, we're going to go over some of the qualifications. What does it take to get approved for these programs from a income standpoint, asset standpoint, and credit standpoint? And by the way, it is not as hard from a credit standpoint as many people believe it is. Number three, I'm going to teach you how to structure these transactions. Most of the people that I work with get in with just a few $1,000s out of pocket. I'm going to explain in detail how we're able to accomplish that. And number four, I'm going to show you how to find good quality homes. I am all about quality. You're going to learn that as I go through and give you some samples of some of the people that I'm currently working with, have sold homes to. I am not about, I hate to say it, I'm not about lipstick. There's a lot of houses out there, a lot of people that are flippers that put a little bit of lipstick on houses and think they can pass it off. I encourage my people to pass on those types of houses. And most importantly, I'm going to show you how to get good, free, quality experience representation to help you every step of the way. And my promise is, if you follow my steps, I will get you into a home regardless of your credit situation. So I've worked with people getting their credit built up. It could be, like I said, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. I will also give you access to my free credit repair webinar. That's actually this Saturday at 10 a.m. And actually, before I forget, I'm going to put a link to that because I do not advertise this. This is only for people that attend my webinars. And it's, click the link right here, credit.nodownpaymentrequired.org/home. If you want to learn what goes on inside the mortgage world, how they look at your credit, and more importantly, how to manipulate the credit to get a quick bounce in your score. It's not very challenging for me to get someone's credit score up 60 points in 60 days. Is actually quite easy with a lot of the tools that I share on that webinar. It's an hour-long Saturday morning, 10 a.m. I do them once a month, so please take me up on it. Or if you know of somebody that needs help, always happy to pay it forward from the credit building side. So I always like to share a lot of stories out there. So this is one that I've shared for the past 3 months. This is the biggest win I have ever had in my career. And this was with Emily. Emily actually purchased a home on Freeland, and she actually got $33,134. She qualified for a $25,000 program from the city of Detroit. We piggybacked that with a 3% gift program, a $5,000 closing cost gift program or grant, and a $500 appraisal grant program. So all in $33,000 for this home on Freeland. This was a solid brick house. In fact, I always like to share it with people because a lot of people look at the outside, doesn't look like much, but the inside was a good quality home. Let me give you a feel for just flipping through the pictures here. This home was actually in a state, and I thought we were quite fortunate to actually get it. If you look at it, carpet was in good shape. This was almost like a time capsule. Nice fireplace in it, dining room, a 100% 1950s brick ranch. If any of you have been around for a little while, you know I love 50s built homes. I think it's the best construction this country has ever seen. Hardwood floors throughout. Kitchen isn't totally updated, but it's not original either. You can see nice hardwood cabinets. But more importantly, this roof was newer and the basement was dry. This is the driest basement I think I've ever encountered in the 30-some years I've been doing business in southeastern Michigan. And you'll see it in just 1 minute when I get to it. There it is. There's the basement. Look at the carpet down there. Really, just a nice sell. There was a lot of stuff that she inherited because it was a estate sale. Everything went with it, but it had a full basement, or bathroom in the basement. But it's not often I see carpet on the floor in a basement that's in this good a shape for these 1950s brick houses. So with that being said, it kind of gives you a feel for the type of houses that I like to be associated with. And like I said, I was so happy for Emily. She was actually on a fixed income. So don't let anybody tell you that if you're on a fixed income or retired, you can't do it. So she can. And actually, there's a couple of people I'll probably share with you this evening that were able to do it on a fixed income. So who is this evening for? Well, I love helping renters. I love teaching them the possibility of purchasing with just a few $1,000s out of pocket. So I get it. A lot of people have heard these promises before, but I'm here to tell you, I'm going to give you the tools so you can tap into the programs, see what's out there. These aren't empty promises. These are programs that I'm about to share with you. And I'm going to give you plenty of the success stories that I work with. In fact, here's one that I'm working with right now. This is actually a house out in Highland Township, $260,000. Nate's actually qualifying. We actually got this under contract last week. He is actually qualifying for a $14,000 forgivable down payment assistance program. So he's going to be able to keep all the money as long as he owns this house for 5 years. And what's really amazing is he actually qualifies for a solar package that they're piggybacking right on top of it. So as part of keeping people's payments in alignment, there's actually a program that will give you solar panels and a whole solar system to make it more affordable to own the house. First time I've ever done one of those programs, but there's always new stuff coming out. So here's another one. Kenneth. Kenneth is actually a great story because he called me a couple of weeks ago when he was actually sitting in his barber's chair. And his barber was listening to him tell him about someone was trying to, I don't want to say bully, but they were pushing him to buy this house that was less than quality, okay? This was actually a house, it was down the street from where I grew up. I grew up on a street called Lamphere in an area that's Finkel and Lasser area. It's actually known as Breakmore. So, and it's actually the house in the lower right-hand corner. This house doesn't look bad on the outside, but when you look on the inside, it was not finished very well. So just to kind of give you a feel for it, the inside, it just was lipstick, okay? And you can see the door jambs. It didn't even have doors in some of the areas. Radiator covers were missing. There was a little water in the basement. I mean, it's like they stopped. Look at the tile work that they did in the bathroom. So this was the first house I met Kenneth at after his barber referred him to me. So we met at this house and I was kind of like, Kenneth, we can do better. And we did. It didn't take much longer. I said, that's it. We're going to go. Let me pick out a few for you. I did that. And we ended up finding this house on Vaughn, a solid 100% house that was redone top to bottom with quality. This bathroom tile all the way up. These photos are actually a good representation of the type of quality craftsmanship that was done. This is a house that just doesn't have a lot of headaches and fits his lifestyle. So Kenneth is actually retired, okay? Limited income on Social Security. So again, don't let people tell you that it can't be done. It can. And this is actually the outside, newer roof, a good quality house that's well within his budget. Okay. So not closed on it yet, but we just went through the inspection period. We were able to get it under contract. I think it was for $95,000. So it's more along the 7 mile between Evergreen and Greenfield area. So nice quality house. So these are some of the success stories. Actually, here's one other one. This one is with Shannon. Shannon actually just signed a couple of weeks ago. She bought this brick ranch. It's actually right on Wyoming, oddly enough. And what was really nice about Shannon is she actually, she doesn't like to drive. And I get a lot of customers, Kenneth is another one, that don't like to drive, don't have cars. So, but Shannon works at the Kroger at Wyoming and 8 Mile, and don't know what it is, but she's the third person that was referred to me that works at that Wyoming and 8 Mile Kroger. So, able to get her approved for a zero down grant program where didn't have to put any money down. We got the seller to pay, I think it was $4,000 of her closing costs, which was about the maximum amount we could do. And then she needed to bring in a couple $1,000s to closing. So I think all in it might have been about $3,000 for her, but it was no money down. So we used a zero down grant program through Flagstar Bank where there's no mortgage insurance. Almost too good to be true, but not having that mortgage insurance keeps her payment quite low. So that was the best fit for her. Okay. So my goal, let me go back here. Didn't finish up here. So I do want to tell people there's nothing magical about what I do, and I don't want to portray it as that. There is some work that needs to be done on your part, whether it's taking a 4-hour class or to qualify for the program. Some of them don't, some of them do. There's a lot of different things that can pop up, but for the most part, it's not a lot of work as long as your income is there and your credit fits the guidelines. It's not rocket science. Most of the people have a lot of the things at their fingertips and can just email them to a loan officer. Okay? So I always tell people the hardest thing sometimes is getting people on board and building up the hope that they can actually get this done. So I always tell people, imagine what if you could actually qualify for these programs. Okay? In fact, there's one program that was around for the past 2 years. It was actually through the city of Detroit. It was a $25,000 down payment program. I call it a grant because you own it for 3 years. You get to keep the $25,000. There is chatter that program is coming back, okay, and could be coming back as quick as August. Now, the way that things are right now, if any of you are living in the city of Detroit, you are foolish not to sign up for this. This is going to be a run. Now, they haven't advertised it yet. I have a person that I know works there and told me that they're in negotiations with it and it's looking good. So I'm going to tell people, please let me put you on that list because the day it comes out, that money is going to disappear. So I'm going to do something that I don't often do, but I'm going to give you my cell phone number. That's 248-252-7283. Now, take this number, mark it, take a photo with your phone, whatever. I want you to text me if you're looking where you live, because in order for me to register you for this program, this is $25,000. This is a lot of money. So you need to text me your name, your full name, your actual legal name, the address where you're living, because you have to be in the city of Detroit to qualify for it. I also need your email address and your phone number, because when I register you, they're going to be sending you an email saying, hey, John, you qualify, you're registered for this program. Then we're going to get you pre-approved for the mortgage so we can go out and off to the races. Now, the great thing about this program, there's no credit restrictions. So last go around, I actually got people approved with credit scores in the mid to low 500s. Okay, so this is one of those programs that is not credit score driven. So unfortunately, the mortgage companies won't work with you if your scores are below 520 is where I found that cutoff is. Okay, 540 or higher is preferred with a lot of the lenders. Okay, so please take me up on that. That program is going to go very, very quickly. So imagine if you could qualify for these programs. Don't let credit hold you back. And if you never had to move again or never had to write another check to a landlord. So I find my job is to build as much confidence in you. And I do that by education so that you'll actually take that time to schedule a call with me. And again, here is the link to schedule a call with me. And what I like to do on that call is I want to learn your situation so I can put myself in your shoes, regardless of where your income or credit is. There's always a scenario. Okay. And if you have any friends or family members, please pass that link along to them too. I am all about helping as many people as I possibly can. So my goal, as you can tell, I am here to build your confidence up by giving you knowledge so you can get this done. So you're going to schedule a strategy call with me. Whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, it doesn't matter to me. I've been doing these webinars for, probably 3 years now. And before that, I was teaching people one phone call at a time for 10 years before I discovered I can do it to 100 people on a webinar. So the big thing that I find, the biggest challenge I run into is just putting some of those common disbeliefs to rest, that you need money. You don't need money to do this, okay? The money is actually the easy part. With all of the grants I'm going to show you in a few moments, and right now, Southeastern Michigan, heck, I did one today. It was Livonia had 17 programs available. Detroit has 23. I think Macomb County has 18. There's programs, tons of programs out there for everyone. I just need to know what your situation is so I can best guide you to what program is going to yield you the most amount of money. Okay? So the money is the easy part. You don't need good credit. We've established that. But typically, a lot of the programs want to see your scores above a 580. It's not often that I have one that's available with credit scores below that. That's why I do my credit repair webinars on Saturdays, teaching people how to get their scores up 60 points in 60 days. The other thing I run into, I mean, I'm the end of the baby boomers. I'm 61 right now. So there, for whatever reason, I work with a lot of people my age and a few years older that are retired. So they're on fixed income. If you're on a fixed income, don't let that hold you back. Okay. I think out of the 4 people I showed you so far, 2 of them were on fixed incomes, Social Security. So it can be done. I just need to know what your situation is. Okay. If somebody's asking a question right now, do I help people in all areas? Absolutely. Okay. So I showed you one that was actually out in Highland Township. And then obviously I'm kind of a city guy, but I have team members that show houses all over. I think today we were showing houses in Roseville, East Point, Warren, and then in Redford. And then I actually hit Detroit this morning for a couple. So we're all over the map. Okay. So you don't need money. You don't need good credit, and we can do it with a fixed income. So don't let those things hold you back. Yes, somebody's asking, when I say fixed income, I'm talking about people on Social Security. Okay. So I will show you how I routinely help people purchase homes. All I ask for this evening is your help pushing my message along. I'm going to put a couple of links in here right now, and they are to my Facebook page, because I am really trying to get my number of followers up on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay? Those are my 2 asks. That and to schedule a call so I can help you and learn more about your situation. And the other one is on YouTube. All of my videos are streamed right now. My webinars are streamed to YouTube and to Facebook. So if you want to see this again, you can see it there. Or I send replays out to people too. So, but if you could please help me build my audience on Facebook and YouTube, I would really appreciate it. You know, when you're out there, follow me, hit the subscribe button, hit the alert button, and then you'll be alerted anytime I upload new content. And it really just helps me push the message along, because I'm all about it, helping as many people as we possibly can. Okay. So I get a lot of people that ask, why do I do this? Well, it was about 13 years ago, I had a light bulb moment where I was just like most people. I was working to pay the man, is what I say, but chasing numbers, just a typical sales guy. And then I just had some life-altering moments. I had a very successful career in the mortgage world, where I was a top loan officer at a large mortgage company for many years, and then struck out on my own, opened a mortgage company with another gentleman, and from there we had a title insurance company. So by all accounts, on the surface, things were large, but I was always chasing numbers, feeling like, you know, being a salesperson, chasing money, that was it. That's what I was here for. And then one day, you know, while I was having these businesses, someone approached me and said, "Hey, why is this money going here?" And then next thing you know, we discovered somebody was embezzling. And it was a really hard fall. It was actually a controller, and basically our internal accountant or bookkeeper was embezzling. And it was a long, hard road down. So that was the title company. Boy, that was 2 years that was gone. And back then, my kids were young, and that's just the way it was. And then shortly thereafter, I had the mortgage company. We thought, hey, that's great. Mortgages are still doing well. We were doing rehab loans. And then one day I get a call from Chase saying, sorry, we are closing our mortgage division for credit lines. And boom, there was the end of that. So after going through a very painful process there with regards to bankruptcy, foreclosure, you name it. I mean, it was ugly when Chase closed that and the embezzlement. It was not a pretty picture for myself. So I actually retreated from the industry. I was so disgusted with it. I was mentally, financially, you name it. I was a broken man. So I went to the automotive world to do finance there for a few years and realized that I'm still chasing numbers. And then I actually, after like 3 years building my credit, getting my income back where it needed to be, I actually qualified for a down payment assistance program, and we're about to buy our house again. And at that time, we qualified for a down payment assistance program. And at the last minute, the loan officer basically told me that he never applied for it, that we didn't need it, that I had a couple $1,000s and that could be used for the down payment. So needless to say, I was quite irked that somebody made that decision for me and took what last bit of money we had. Now, my wife and I wanted the house badly, and I had 2 kids at home at the time, and we went through with the sale, and still irks me today. But it was at that point in time that I actually said, you know what? I'm going to get back into real estate, and I'm going to teach people. I'm going to learn as much as I possibly can about these down payment assistance programs and grants, because I had them around me when I was doing mortgages. But for whatever reason, I never hyped them up. I never told people about them because they weren't really shared with me. And the reason that is they're just not profitable for the lenders. So the lenders, and many times, they're dictated how much they can make on these types of loans. So as a result, they're just not what they lead with. So I made it my passion 10 years ago. Actually, it was 13, to get back into it and start teaching people about these down payment assistance grants and programs. And just recently, things have really started to blossom where I get a great following. So for me, it's not. I learned that it's all about education, and the more education I teach and give to people, the better and happier man I am. So for me, it's the more people I help than the paycheck. Sounds kind of sappy, but that's just, once I discovered that person, I am such a happier man. I kicked myself for the younger version that I was, being just like a lot of other salespeople. So now, when it comes to working with a lot of these loan officers, I have to redirect them. So it's not uncommon for me to tell someone, no, hey, John applied for this program. This is what I want you to give them. Well, he doesn't need it. He's got money in his retirement account, is what I hear all the time. Hey, you know what? Mr. Jones works at Chrysler. He's got money in his 401k. I don't need to get the down payment assistance program. No, that's what he applied for. He's going to need that money someday. That's what, at least that's what I feel. So every now and then I need to redirect people. So that's why I do this. That's my why. That's my passion for it. So now, with that being said, I want to start jumping into some of the things that you really came here for this evening. First and foremost, let's talk about what's the difference between a down payment assistance program and a grant. Now, a down payment assistance program is typically something that has a repayment component to it. You may be forgiven after 3 years, and you may not have to make any payments on it, but they do put a lien on the house, and there's a repayment component to it. A grant is free money. So I am always going to chase grants first. Sometimes we stack them. So I don't know if you remember Emily the first slide I showed you, we were able to get a $25,000 down payment assistance program through the city, and then we stacked some grants on top of it to get it up to $33,000. So if you are in that arena where you could qualify for things that we can stack, heck, I'm going to connect you with a lender that has the ability to stack them. So anyways, that's the difference between down payment assistance and grants. We always want to hit the grants first. Now, here is how you actually access, and I'm going to put this link right in here. This is a new app we just developed, and it's right now it's only available. You can actually click this link and get to it on either Apple or Android. It doesn't matter. It's actually a website. But we have an app that you're going to be able to download in the next couple of weeks on Apple, and you can certainly download it today on Android. But here it is. It's no down payment. Excuse me, that was the wrong one. It's actually called No Down Payment App. Let me put that in the chat box. There it is. NoDownPayment.app. And this is what it looks like. Okay? So it's going to take you right to a website that's going to say, hey, no down payment money is out there. Let's see if you're eligible. And then it's going to ask you for an address. That's why I asked if anybody has any addresses out there, I'd put it in. Not seeing anything. Oh, somebody did put one. Here's one. In Burton, Michigan. Nice. On the way up to Flint. I like it. Cut. Paste. Is it pronounced Jolie? Jolie, here you go. 17 programs are currently available in Burton. Right there. Actually, I'll put my personal, so you just click Get Details. Once you put the address in, sorry, I'm going a little fast there. Once you put the address in, it's going to tell you how many programs. You can see 17. Just click Get Details. There's other information it's going to ask you. If you want to put it in, great. You don't need to, but it's going to give you 17 programs. Put in my information. Click the Get Details button, and it's going to be emailing you that list of 17 programs. Okay? So you're going to get an email that's going to look just like this. Okay, here it is. And it's going to list all the programs. So, Jolie, 17 programs. There's one program in Burton right now that's offering $35,000. And if I go down, here it is, the Genesee County Neighborhood Stabilization Program. That's a new one. New ones are popping up all the time. So, get in touch with me. I'll be happy to give you the criteria of what it takes to get approved for this particular program, Jolie. Schedule a call with me. Okay? All right. Any other addresses, you guys can pop it in there. I'll circle back and get those to you. Someone's asking, what about Muskegon? You know what? If you just typed Muskegon in that app, I guarantee you. Well, let's take a peek here. I think I can put in this. Let's get rid of that. Nice to know we've got people on the other side of the state. Nicole. I didn't ask. I usually ask where everybody is. Last time I did one of these, I had somebody in Arizona, Connecticut, Los Angeles, Nevada, and I think that was it. So crazy amounts of money available across the country. So let's see. There you go. Muskegon County. Good. 19 programs in Muskegon County. Let's see how much money is offered there. And okay, Muskegon County, $30,000, and the Federal Home Loan of New York Home Buyer Dream Program. So it's out of a Bank of New York. Okay. There's another one. Okay, someone's got one for Oak Park. This will be the last one I do. I do know that if anybody is looking in, I think Oakland County works too. Can't use zip codes, but I'm going to do one more here, and then I will circle back and do all of them towards the end. And let's go back one more. But remember, no down payment app. And we can do certain areas. You don't have the zip code for Oak Park because I've got to have the zip code or it won't pop up. Since I don't have the zip code, just Reagan, I'll give you an idea for Oakland County. There you go. Oakland County, 16 programs. I think the $25,000 program is in Oakland County as well, too. So please take me up, use the app. Happy to give you some other ones later. I'll circle back and I'll plug these addresses in later for everyone. But in the interest of time, I'm going to be moving on to my next topic. Next topic, qualifications. What does it take to get approved for a lot of these programs? Well, there are several things that they look at for approval. They want to know your income because they want to make sure you're not biting off more than you can chew. They have what they call debt to income ratios. Credit, always a topic. So we'll go over what has to be done with regards to credit. Assets, I already told you that's the easy part. The money part, that's as long as you've got 1,000 or two. I get people that's every now and then, Kenneth, the gentleman I showed you earlier, $1,000. Okay. He paid for his home inspection, $300. Okay. So $300 there. And then I think an earnest money deposit of $700. Boom, $1,000, he's done. He won't need any money at closing with the program he's going on. So, and the property. The property has to be in good habitable condition. But let's go over the income first. So when it comes to income, there are some income restrictions with many of the programs. In other words, your income has to be below maybe the area median income. Sometimes it's the state programs are very generous. And there are some programs that have no income restrictions. So that's part of the strategy call. When I get to know your situation, I just want to know where your income is and credit and things like that so I can better coach you what programs are the best fit. From a credit standpoint, they do not like to see recent late payments, collections, or charge-offs. Recent being within the last 12 to 6 months. Okay, that's where we run into some hurdles. If you have that type of baggage, please sign up for my credit repair webinar on Saturday. I go over how to take care of those items, how to possibly get them deleted, and how to set yourself up to get a quick spike in your credit score. So when it comes to your income, they do want to see 2 years of income. Okay, it doesn't have to be the same job. You just have to show 2 years. Sometimes people are laid off for 6 months, so we might be over a 2.5 year period. Okay, if you are W-2'd, we just need your pay stubs. Okay, if you're 1099, which is the same as self-employed, they're going to want to see some tax returns. If you don't have tax returns, then there are some programs that will not require tax returns. I just need to know what your situation is so I can best coach you on that. They don't want to see more than 45% of your income go to your house payment and the debts that are typically showing up on your credit report or coming out of your bank statements. Okay, so let's say you've got income of $40,000 a year. Or $4,000 a month might make it easier for me. That would be no more than $1,800 a month going to your new house payment and your auto loans, credit cards, student loans, things like that. So if you have $1,800 a month, subtract $400 for a car, maybe $100 for credit cards and student loans. That leaves $1,300 left over. Right now, $1,300 is buying $150,000 house in southeastern Michigan. And oddly enough, that's the same price as a 2-bedroom apartment. Right now, 2-bedroom apartments in southeastern Michigan just went above $1,050 a month. Crazy. If somebody would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have said no way. But they're going to continue to increase because there is a rental shortage across the country that is not being talked about nearly as much as it should be. In fact, the numbers that I heard, no one can put an exact number on it, but they're saying there's actually a 3 to 5 million shortage of households right now. So, and that's unfortunately what's pushing a lot of rents up. So That being the case, they are predicting a 5% increase per year on rentals. So that $1,350 for a two-bedroom apartment is going to be $1,700 in 5 years if we take those numbers into account. And I have no reason to think that it's not going to go that way, because I'm not seeing any new places being built, at least not in my area or the areas that I cover. Now, from a credit standpoint, minimum credit scores typically are 580. I did share with you earlier, there are programs and grants that will, on a case-by-case, go below 580. They just aren't plentiful, okay? Now, as your credit score increases, so do the amount of programs that you qualify for. So, for example, if your credit score is above a 680, you can start stacking a lot of grants. Remember I told you about Emily getting the 25 and then the 3% and then the 5,000 and 500. She had credit scores that were above 680. So we were able to run the table. We were able to get all the money for her. And it happens for a lot of people. Okay. So the higher your credit. Now, that doesn't mean let's wait and see what we can do to get your credit scores up to a 700. That's kind of a longer road. And we don't know where the programs are going to be. The programs, unfortunately, are running out of money right now. Okay. They're not as plentiful they're not going to be as plentiful in the future as they are right now, because Washington is starting to turn the faucet off as much as they can. All right. But one thing I can take solace in is the fact that with the rental shortages the way that they are, when I start to see 200,000 available in Miami, 250 available in New York, 160 available in California, it tells me that they are pushing money in the areas that need them. So there will always be something. It's just they may not be as plentiful. Okay. So as far as the credit, let me give you that link again to my credit repair webinar. And let me go back here. Okay. My apologies. I think I closed out my tab there. Give me just 1 minute. Okay. And I apologize. I am having some difficulty right now. I don't know. I can hear the rain on the roof. Every time I get a lot of rain, my computer starts to go slower. So I hope you guys are able to hang on with me as long as you can this evening. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to give you the link right here. Here is the link to my credit repair webinar. Copy and paste. All right. There you go. Get back to our. So there's the link to my credit repair webinar. If anybody needs any help, please click that link, register Saturday, 10 a.m. Now, with regards to assets, I always tell people, don't worry about the money. The money's the easy part. That's my job. I'll find you the money. And keep in mind that the homes need to be in good habitable condition. It's got to have an operating kitchen, operating bathroom. I don't worry about the mechanicals every now and then because sometimes we run into furnaces that are gone. We'll get those installed before closing. So how do we structure some of these transactions? Well, this is how we get in with just a couple $1,000s out of pocket. So this is just a fictitious house. If we find a house for $150,000, let's say the taxes are $2,000, closing costs are $2,000, homeowners insurance might be $1,500, title insurance $1,200. Your total closing cost for an average house right now is running about $7,000, but here it comes up to $6,700. The down payment on a $150,000 house, $5,250. So the total to purchase this fictitious house is $11,950. It's not very challenging for me to find programs to get you $10,000. So if I take $11,950, subtract $10,000, you can buy it with only a couple $1,000s out of pocket, and that's start to finish. Now, if we need to sharpen the pencil even more, we can do that. Okay. Now, on this same type of house, you can see if you look in the lower right-hand side, the principal and interest payment might be about $950, taxes $166, homeowners insurance $125, mortgage insurance $75. The total payment is about $1,300, about what a lot of people are paying in rent right now. And you own the keys. It's your house. You do what you want with it. You don't have to worry about some landlord bumping up the rent. That's the other thing. Sometimes people end up paying a little bit more owning the house than they do renting, but your payment's locked in. You don't have to worry about it going up over time. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes your homeowner's insurance can change a little bit and the taxes might, but it doesn't change nearly as much as some people that would lead you to believe. So that's how we work the numbers. Now, with regards to finding homes, I always tell people it is never too early to look. And go to my website, www.micitysearch.com. Start looking for a home as soon as possible. Okay. It's never too early. I find the quicker you start looking, the more educated you are. And then when value is placed in front of you, you're not going to think twice. Okay. So I always tell people it's never too early to start looking at houses. Now, as you're looking, I always tell people if you want to find a good quality house and not overpay for it, the best thing to do is look at some of the older inventory. Look at the things that have been on the market for a couple of weeks and take a step back and ask why. Is there something wrong with the house? Or is it just that the deals are falling apart? Right now, 20% of all the transactions are falling apart after they're put together. And the reason, in my opinion, is the inventory levels are still low. People are realizing that they might have overpaid a little bit. Maybe the appraisal comes in and it's not where it should be. But what's nice about looking at these homes that are 2 to 3 weeks old, the sellers are a little bit more realistic. If it's a deal that came apart, they realize that maybe it's priced too high. Or maybe they priced it too high in the beginning and they're chasing the market and trying to lower it. Maybe there's some deferred maintenance that needs to be taken care of. Maybe it needs some things done to it. Maybe the taxes are too high. It has assessments. Could be a lot of different reasons. But that doesn't mean it's not a good quality house that's worth looking at. And I find that if you look at the ones that have been on the market for a little while, chances are you're not going to overpay. And like I said, the sellers are usually more flexible. Time has beaten them down a little bit where they realize that maybe they're not sitting on that pot of gold that a lot of sellers thought they had over the past couple of years. Now, as you're looking at the houses, I think it's very important that you look at some of the big things, the roof. Make sure that roof is in decent shape. When you're looking at the images, look at the ceilings. Look at the ceilings in the basement, in the living room, kitchen. Make sure that they are in good shape, no stains from any leaks. Look at the floors. Make sure they're straight, okay? And focus on the basement. The basement's what tells the story, okay? When I walk up to a house, I'm looking at the roof first, and then I can't wait to get into the basement, okay? It tells me whether it's a dry basement, and if there's any headaches with the house, it's usually going to surface in that basement, okay? That's just the old eyes, the gray hair giving you some wisdom there, I guess, for lack of better words. Now, How do you find good, experienced help? This is the key to getting these programs across the finish line, okay? I always tell people, do not let an inexperienced agent or loan officer be your learning partner, okay? It's not that it's rocket science, but if you don't know, you don't know. There are certain ways to get these deals across the finish line, and more importantly, get the offers accepted, okay? I can't tell you how many houses that I'll have for sale where the agents will come to me and they'll tell me, oh yeah, I got a buyer, they're using a down payment assistance program. Not too many agents want to hear that. I mean, I love the down payment assistance program, so I encourage it, so it doesn't bother me. But a lot of older agents, they hear down payment assistance like, oh gosh, that's a headache. I don't know if my seller wants to deal with it. Make sure you're talking to an agent that is going to keep your best interest at heart. Okay. We don't want to tell the seller any more than what we need to know. They need to know to get the offer accepted. Okay. Any person that I'm working with, if you've got a pre-approval, that pre-approval is going to be, it's concrete. Okay. It's usually subject to an appraisal. Okay. So I think that it's important that you hitch your wagon to a train that's been down the tracks several times. And my team and I have. Make sure when you're talking to lenders, ask them, have you done these programs before? Okay. Anybody that I connect you with, I can assure you they've done this before. And I always tell people, if you want to tap into these programs, please don't call the lenders directly. I guarantee you, the guys answering the phone, they're not the experienced loan officers. The experienced loan officers, their phones are ringing. The inexperienced, they're picking up your phone, okay? You were a sales call to them. Let me make that introduction for you so I can connect you with a seasoned agent that's going to get you across the finish line, or a seasoned loan officer that's going to get you across the finish line, so I can share your story, okay? Sometimes people hear things and they don't look for ways to make things work, okay? I'm here that's why I tell people, schedule a call with me. I learned your story. I'm going to tell you, okay. I had a call with a gentleman earlier, and I was like, you know what? Do me a favor. Don't tell the lender that. They don't need to know that, okay? I appreciate you sharing that with me, but let's just keep that to ourselves, okay? The lenders don't need to know everything. They just need to know enough to get you approved and across the finish line. So it's important that if I can communicate your story in the most favorable light, they're going to get excited and make sure you get across the finish line. But more importantly, when there's a hiccup, and there's always a hiccup, okay, there's work involved, okay, with any loan. So when there's a hiccup, if I referred them to you, I can call them and have a very candid conversation. Hey, why did we pre-approve these people if there's this hiccup? What do we do to work around it? Okay. 90% of the time there's a workaround. The only time there isn't a workaround is when it's something I don't know and it pops up. Okay. So the more transparent you can be with me, the more I can give you my honest opinion and tell you whether it's something we can do right now. And you'll never hear a no from me. It's not going to be no. It's going to be not right now. We need to fix this, this, and this first. Okay. That's just the way I roll. Now, with regards to a realtor, that's what I'm applying for. I'm here applying for the job to be your agent, my team and I, to get you across the finish line. I'm here to help you identify all the programs that are out there, which one's going to be best suited for you and your family. Okay. Because this isn't just about you. Most of the time there's a family involved. Okay. And I'll tell you what I tell everyone. Okay. It's not about me. Okay. I've heard no many times in my life. So I respect people when they tell me no. So I'm not going to tell you no. I'm going to tell you just not right now. But what I don't want to do, and what really infuriates me now, is when loan officers get people hyped up for a move and then somebody gets their family. So you can disappoint me all you want. Just don't let me get my family hyped up for a move and disappoint my family. Okay. So that's why it's important for me to keep people accountable and to help you identify as many programs as possible. Okay. I typically want to have people approved for 2 or 3 programs, because if plan A doesn't work, I want a plan B. Okay. And if plan B doesn't work, we want a plan C. Okay. So we want to find those best qualifying homes that are going to fit on those programs too, because not all programs are going to fit in certain areas. So we want to make sure we're looking in the right areas. Obviously, I'm going to show you how to structure it so you get in with as little money out of pocket and at the same time negotiating as much out of the seller's pocket as we can to create the most favorable contract for you and your family. And like I said, help you navigate the final mortgage approval, because there's always stuff that pops up. And most importantly, keep your numbers in alignment. When I tell you the numbers, they're going to be pretty darn close. Okay. The loan officers and I are always in sync. I know what they charge. I know what within $1,000, it's without fail. And sometimes if it's a tight budget, and I can tell people are uncomfortable, I've written these numbers down, and I go out and show houses, and I can say, you know what? I can tell you're concerned with what the numbers are going to be. This is how the money's going to spend. This is the timeline that you're going to have to send the checks out. Okay. And if the numbers don't hit here, save this piece of paper and tell me. I'll make them there. Okay. It doesn't happen very often, but once or twice a year, I'll have to get some concessions out of my own pocket to make those numbers line up. Not a big deal. Okay. It happens. So mistakes happen for certain reasons, but I will tell you, I am not the bait and switch guy. If those numbers are that important, we are going to make sure we adhere to those numbers. So anyways, that's experienced help is the key to getting these things across the finish line. So this evening, we've gone over how to access, actually it's 2,500 programs, the qualifications for the programs, how we structure the deals, how to find quality homes, how to connect with free quality experience representation. Okay. Just to go over things a little bit again, you want to hit the No Down Payment app. That's where you're going to see all the programs. Okay. The credit repair webinar, I've given you that link a couple of times. Hit me up on there. My final thoughts for the evening. The one thing I run into is there is always self-doubt whether or not people can pull this off. I'm here to tell you, I'm not going to allow people to get to the point where you're out looking at houses unless there's a 90% chance that you're going to get across the finish line. And usually I'm going to have you approved for 2 or 3 different programs. We've gone over a lot of the success stories. Okay. I help people daily. In fact, if you know of any agents out there that are focused, and I stress the word focused on giving good quality representation and serving people, I'm always looking to expand. Okay. It's just sometimes finding that like-minded people that are here to serve isn't as easy as some people think it is. Unfortunately, a lot of people in real estate got into it because they think the streets are paved with gold. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Once you find your passion and realize that you're here to serve, then life becomes a little bit easier. It's not gold, but it pays the bills. So also, I've showed you how to tap into the programs with my No Down Payment app. We covered a lot of the what ifs. Okay. What if you never had to make another payment to a landlord? If, right now I'm finding that there's a whole generation of first-time home buyers or people that don't even know they're eligible. One statistic I saw this week at some training was that the average first-time home buyer right now is 38 years old. Now, for whatever reason, most of the people that I work with are probably 40 to 65. That's probably the age group that I work with, but that's just because I guess I resonate with those types of people. But the fact that there's a whole generation, 20 to 40 years old, that's almost giving up on home ownership, that's kind of sad. So I'm making it a mission to try and find a way to resonate with that age group, because anytime I try to advertise to it, they think it's a scam or kind of sketchy. And I get that. I mean, there's a lot of scams. Heck, I get all of them. We all get those scam calls all day on our phones. But I'm trying to find a way that I can pump some hope into that generation and help them take advantage of it, because I find the quicker that they're able to take advantage of these programs, the quicker they're able to build wealth. Imagine if you're 45, if you're 40 years old, imagine if you would have bought when you were 25. Imagine how much equity you would have built up in a house along the way. It's not tens of thousands. It could be 50 or 100,000. So I have a passion for trying to find a way to get those people in the know, for lack of better words. So if you know of anybody, please pass my contact information and webinars along. So you'll constantly get dripped on with anytime I do a webinar once a month, I send emails and text out to my whole database. So please pass that along. The more, the merrier. So I'm here to tell people, imagine if you didn't have to rent anymore and you didn't have to move anymore, because if you're renting, you're probably going to have to move someday. Okay. Believe me, there was a time I thought that these programs were too good to be true. But I'm here to tell you they're out there, and I love connecting people with them. Okay. And I always tell people, imagine opening the door to your home for your family. That's the key. It's not about me, and it's probably not about yourself, but it is about your family. Okay. And you know what? You have to live somewhere. So like I said, you might as well own the roof. Okay, that's where I came up with the Own the Roof. So we are branding everything along the lines of our Own the Roof. So please schedule a call with me. Go to that nodownpayment.org/book. You're going to get several texts after this. And here's my contact information if you ever want to reach out to me. Now, we are at the top of the hour, and I always like to cut things off at 1 hour, but I'm not going anywhere. I am here to answer as many questions as you have this evening, and I apologize. I raced through everything. Just took a little bit of a detour because I find that as much as I try to give as much educational content as I can, I feel like I really need to build hope that people can get things done. Okay. So let's go through, see if any questions, start putting them in the chat box. I'm going to go through and start answering some of these questions. Here's a question from Nicole. Are these grants available to people that have had certain traumatic events, like maybe an eviction? And the answer is yes. It depends on where it is. So I would encourage you to schedule a call. If it was something within the last 12 months, it tends to be a little bit harder. 2 years, it still can be done. If it's over 2 years, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Okay. Oh, Felicia, good. I'm glad you got some great information out of this. Got it. Thank you, Gayla, for signing on. Very interested. Someone's asking, what if my credit is in the trash? I certainly appreciate that. Go to my credit repair webinar. On that, I'm going to show you what they look for in the mortgage world, what credit scores and what credit models they're using, and how we can manipulate your scores to get a quick spike. Without fail, I can get someone's credit scores up 60 points in 60 days. And if your credit scores are 580 or higher, there are programs available for you. Okay. Jolie, I hope I answered your question with regards to other areas. Someone's saying, I have a home from the Detroit Land Bank, need assistance. Please, Centris, schedule a call with me. Happy to go over it with you. Okay. All right. You are welcome. So someone's asking if we can help with fixing up a house. No, we do. These programs do not help with rehab loans. Okay. Someone's asking, I want to apply for the $25,000. Good. Please send me a text with your name, your email address, the property address where you're living, because it has to be in the city of Detroit. You've got to be a Detroit resident to qualify for that, and your phone number. And I'll register you once it hits. Got it. Okay, got a few things here. Centrist, here's one. Seymour Street in Detroit. I can run that for you. Oh, if that is your Centrist, please text that. If that's the information, put in the text that you want the $25,000 DPA program. Okay? Put it in. Here is my cell phone number. Please don't put it in the chat box because the chat box I don't go over after this. Okay? Let's see. Going through here. All right. And we went through Muskegon. Hope that helped you there. Need help getting the title and a loan. Centrist, please schedule something. Romulus, Mark, anything in Romulus? Let's see. Let me go back out to here. Mark Lewis, let's see what we can do to get you. I'm going to go through and we'll get into the app. And let's see. I don't know exactly how many programs in Romulus, but let's see. Oops. 17 programs. Here's Cynthia, Oak Park. Let's just try. Cynthia had one for Oak Park in Oakland County. 16 programs. And Reagan was asking just in Oakland County. 16 programs. Cynthia 48237, that's, I can't tell by just the zip code. I don't think, Cynthia, but I'll give it a shot. 48237. Now I need a city there. I assume it's a zip code that's, see, Detroit. No, it's not a Detroit zip code. Okay. 482. Redford. There we go. Let's try. "17 programs, Brenda and Redford." Here we go. Westland. Brianna, I think we ran that one. That was 17. Reagan Kearney, you are welcome. Don't give up, Michelle. I appreciate that. How do you schedule a phone call with me? You are going to get, after we disconnect here, you're going to get some text that say, hey, great webinar, book a call with John, click here. Just click that link and you'll get right to it. Thank you so much, Reagan. I think this is Reagan at Michigan First Credit Union, I hope. So hope things are going well for you. Brianna, look forward to seeing you Saturday. Jolie, do you work with NACA? Boy, Jolie, I have not successfully worked with NACA. Okay. So, and I don't know if NACA is in some of the programs. And this is unfortunately, I have had so many customers that have gone to NACA and never were given what they were promised. And that bothers me. So, I've had people have meetings scheduled there where they went to the office at NACA and it was closed. Don't return phone calls. I just don't like to be associated with programs and organizations that are not run well. That's the best way to put it. Okay, and I've been doing these a lot. I mean, oh my gosh, 13 years I've been doing these down payment assistance programs. I haven't heard of anyone actually closing anything with NACA. What I don't like about NACA is they advertise that they don't require any credit scores. But if you read their guidelines, because I actually went through them, it says no late payments in the last 12 months, no collection accounts, things like that. If I didn't have any late payments and no collections the last 12 months, I'd have a decent credit score. So I think it's ridiculous when somebody says no credit scores, but then they have credit criteria. It's just a way to get their phones to ring. I think they put a lot of people through their credit class, maybe not credit classes, but they put a lot of people through their credit counseling, and I think they churn people through and get paid by the feds for it. That's just my opinion, and I probably shouldn't say it, but that's just kind of how I roll. Doris, can I get the link for this Saturday? Yes. Let's see here, right here. Copy, paste. credit.nodownpaymentrequired.org. Okay. So, okay. Next one. Let me get back here. Takesha, thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. So I guess I did pronounce it correct, Jolie. Thank you for spelling it out like that. Grants for down payment assistance. There you go. Not sure what you... Hey, Shawan, how are you? Great news. Thanks, Mark Lewis. Trenton, Michigan. You know what? There are areas for Trenton. It was actually just down showing Trenton houses last Friday. Trenton, Michigan. There we go. 17 programs in Trenton. Okay, Cynthia. I'll get this one in here for you. Paste. Cut. Let us see. 16 programs on Scotia in Oak Park. Yeah. Okay. You are welcome, Shawan. Thank you for attending. Thomas, first-time homebuyer, great. A lot of these programs are designed for first-time homebuyers. Appreciate it, Mark. Jolie, you are welcome. Hey, any research I can help you with? Jolie, I think you're going to find the programs that you qualify for. I think it was 17 in Burton. I wasn't quite sure, but reach out to me. I would love to connect you with any of those programs that might be a fit. And like I said, I always try to hit the ones with the most amount of money first. Okay, Julie. Yeah, I thank you, Julie. I look forward to working one-on-one with you as well. Shawan, thanks for attending, Shawan. Good to see you again. And Thomas, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Any other questions this evening? I'll tell you, it must be raining. The roof in my office is kind of pounding away right now, so it must be raining pretty good outside. I'm actually happy we made it through the whole webinar and didn't lose our connection, because it usually does when it's raining this hard. Okay. All right. Since there are no other questions, I'm going to call it a night. Oh, you know what I need to do is I need to go out and see what my Facebook friends have here. Sorry I didn't circle back there sooner. Any questions there, Facebook? Let me give you my phone number, 248-252-7283 for my Facebook and YouTube friends. Anybody that needs help, you could always feel free to call me. That's the easiest number to get a hold of me. There are several numbers that you're going to see me texting from. I do the best I possibly can to keep up on those, but when it comes to my cell phone, I'm a hawk on that. Okay? So, thank you all very much for carving time out on a summer evening on Wednesday. Hope our paths cross again real soon. And please don't forget to schedule that call with me. And if you ever have any questions regarding down payment assistance or grants or anything real estate related, I've got a pretty diverse background. Like I said, spent well over 25 years in the mortgage world, title world, and obviously real estate too. So anything I can ever help you with, always like to pay it forward as much as I possibly can. So thank you all for hanging on as long as you did. Gosh, looks like a bunch of new names this evening. And I see some old ones. Brian Bradshaw, the ball player. Always like to see you there, pal. So please schedule a call with me. Love to learn your situation, put myself in your shoes, and see how I can help you and your family. So thanks again for attending, everyone. Hope our paths cross again soon, and hope you have a wonderful evening. Have a good night. Goodbye.